My next guest who is with us has overcome many life challenges and she's written a book about it. She was once in a very dark place. She was a former drug addict, an alcoholic, and in her recent publication, we follow her journey as she searches for answers, seeking them from the people who crossed her path over the years. Family fences need mending, and so does her life. Author of The Girl from Pompey is Bryony Best. She's born and raised in Portsmouth. Obviously, the book is called The Girl from Pompey. And Bryony Best is with us this morning. Hi, welcome to the programme, Bryony.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's jump straight into talking about your book. How true to life? Is this an account of what happened through your life?
I have drawn on inspiration from my life for the book. So the book does come from experience and an educated position rather than fabrication.
Okay. Let's talk about that then, because it was really quite dramatic and it spiralled out of control. How did that happen? How did you get to that place?
Well, I think it's lots of little things built up, and it started probably in my childhood, and then it just escalated from there. And I myself have got quite an addictive personality, and I just made a lot of wrong decisions and a lot of wrong choices, and they took me down a very dark path.
Mm-hmm. And what was that sort of rock bottom moment for you, the low moment, maybe the turning point moment that you realised this was not going to be the path for you moving forward?
I think it's probably, I got rushed into hospital by ambulance, and it's quite a funny story really. I thought I had gas poisoning, but it turns out it was something to do with my heart. And when they asked me if there's anyone they could call, there was no one. And that was pretty rock bottom for me, if I'm honest. Yeah. Pretty lonely.
Why was there no one?
Well, I'd isolated myself really by falling out with many family members. And it was early hours of the morning. And there wasn't really anyone I felt I could turn to. I was quite embarrassed. It can be quite isolating when you're in that type of position and you know it's not quite the right place to be, which is why I'm glad that I'm shining a light on mental health and addiction within the book.
When you are at a low moment like that, a rock bottom moment, how do you begin to turn your life around? That's such a difficult, you said you hadn't even got someone to support you, you had no one to call you. How do you muster up the energy to do that?
Well, I did have a few family members that I kept in touch with, and what really gave me a massive push and motivation was actually my sister. She was taken into hospital and was given very little chance of survival, and she had a baby born, and they said the baby had little chance of survival, and she wanted me to look after her kids. So I really had to get my act together, and I had someone to get my act together for.
Did that sort of give you something to live for, somebody to look after?
Definitely. When you're in that position, usually your own life and your own quality of life isn't really the most focus point for you. So having someone else, especially my nieces and nephews, that really did help drive me forward to getting myself healthy again and well again.
Yeah. Did you have some setbacks along the way?
Oh, of course. Oh, definitely. I relapsed quite a few times, if I'm honest, when I was, I don't want to put too many spoilers in, but I lost my father. And at the time, it's any excuse. So unfortunately, I did fall off the wagon a few times, but I'm living healthy now. So
good for you. And the book is called The Girl from Pompey. When you wrote the book, what's that like, that process? You're writing about your life. What did you learn from that?
It can be a very interesting thing to do. Some people say it can be very therapeutic, and I think it was for my journey. I mean, when the inspiration struck for me to write the book, it became obsessive, and I just knew I had to write it down, and I had to share it with the world. And it was very emotional, and there was times where I actually would write a chapter, and I'd have to stop and leave it and walk away for a while. So I feel it's a very hard process, but also I just knew I had to do it. And I found it very therapeutic in a way.
Yeah, I wondered if you'd use that word, therapeutic. I didn't want to suggest it, but yeah. So the book is called The Girl from Pompey. How connected are you to Portsmouth?
Well, I was born in Portsmouth. I've drank in every pub in Portsmouth in the past.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends and supporting ports of me. For example, a couple of people have actually got my book on sale in the shop. JK Wellness and Drayton and Beautiful Bookshop supporting me.
Yeah, well, listen, well done in doing the book. Well done in self-publishing as well, because that's no easy thing to achieve. It's really good to speak to you, and I hope it goes well. And keep in touch, won't you, Bryony?
I will do. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Bryony Best there, author of The Girl from Pompey, available online and locally. Bryony, just mentioning there, you can get her book locally at the Petersfield Bookshop and JK Wellness in Drayton as well.